Okay, our first episode, Coffee with Coach Rodhe. I want to thank Terrence Suddy, who was an athlete of mine a few years ago, for coming up with this idea. We thought, hey, you should, I'm a bit of a coffee perfectionist, and we said we should do Coffee with Coach Rodhe as social media videos. I can talk about training a little bit and highlight coffee. We're going to get started by looking at the Black Rifle coffees and the 1776 United mugs. I got really excited about this stuff in the last year. My lifestyle has changed. I used to do all kinds of pour over and French press and really dedicated myself 5 to 10 minutes to make a cup of coffee. And when I was single and had no kids, I had time for that. And it didn't really matter what kind of coffee I had, as long as I was getting good coffee, but I didn't care too much exactly what it was because of the brewing methods I was doing. I could make a coffee taste any way I wanted with, bloom times and grind sizes and stuff like that. But now with kids and a family and basically working 2 jobs, I have resorted to the coffee pot more often, and it's grind it, put it in the pot, and hope you can drink it before the thing goes cold format. And under that, and I can only go to the store maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, and if you can't find the coffee you want, it was a big pain. And I was losing the good coffee. I was losing the enjoyment of the drink. So Black Rifle, they'll ship it right to your door. They have a monthly subscription package that you can do. It is on the pricier side, but I find with the quality, the repeatable quality of their coffee, and the consistency that comes out of multiple brewing methods. Okay, I can do pour over, I can do French press, I can do coffee pot, and they all taste great all the time, and the different roasts always taste the same. No matter what shipment I get or what batch I get, it's always the same. Great consistency, great product. I've tried quite a few so far. I thought we'd go with my favorite for the first episode, Blackbeard's Delight. They've got I'm not sure I would want to make money off of Blackbeard's name, given the swamp black magic he was into, but I'll certainly drink it. Let's see, they have tasting notes. Dark roasted Brazilian, creating an intense, bold cup full of flavor to keep you entertained while on the high seas. They've got it at a 7 out of 10 on the gradient. It's a little bit on the dark side. Now, this coffee is it's a little palatable. It's not a super clean drink. It's kind of, I don't want to say velvety, but it's definitely full on your tongue. It's got a little bit of fruit in there, but I don't get too big on what these descriptions say, because so much of what the coffee tastes like depends on how hot was your water and how long was it in the water and what was the grind size and how long's the bag been open and what did you store it next to and what kind of water did you use to brew it. And so I kind of like that, Black Rifle, they have vague descriptions. It doesn't lead you on too much because a lot of the flavor profile is going to be what you did to the coffee, not what they did in the factory. But this is a great all-around robust blend. The Blackbeard's Delight, I think is fantastic. All right, we got interrupted by my clients, my 12:30 clients today. We didn't get to talk about the mug yet. 1776 United. Thankfully, I've drank all the coffee, so now I can show you the bottom of the mug. So here's the front, like my coffee black and my tea in the harbor. Really heavy mug, nice big handle for big hands. And the bottom of this one is hand inscribed. Advertises hand thrown clay, and you can see it's clearly a very high quality piece of pottery. 1776 United, I really like the designs. I find them to be aesthetically a pleasing brand. And I also like the fact that they focus on not only freedom and rights as American citizens, but on the colonial story, on the founding fathers story. And I went to college. I was an English major, focused in poetry, and I think we have great characters and a great story that came out of the birth of our nation, and that's most of what I pull from their brand, and I have a deep appreciation for that. And I got a bunch more mugs. We're gonna focus on a couple different items in their tankards. This is the tankard, not the mug. This holds about 4 cups out of the coffee pot. I think they advertise it as 14 ounces, but it holds a lot more than the standard cup. Definitely for the stout drinker, heavy-handed individual. Okay, the topic I want to talk about today for sports related is we're coming to the end of the collegiate and high school track season, and you've got seniors who are either undecided or trying to make their final decisions as to where to go for school, and you've got juniors who are just starting to be heavily recruited. And I get questions from people about, well, how do we get recruited? How do I find the coach that I want, the school that I want? And there seems to be a stigma that if you're a good high schooler, that the coaches will find you and that you will be recruited. And to a certain extent, it's almost like people think their value as an athlete is based on how much they are recruited and who is recruiting them. And that's true to a certain extent. But I'm very much a make your own future for yourself, tell your own story type of person. And my career was based on that. Nobody handpicked me and led me down the path to success and said, okay, Justin, this is how you do it, and we're going to turn you into this great athlete. We're going to show you exactly how to do it and where to go. And I had to figure it all out on my own, and I had to drive my own car, drive my own horse, right? And every step of the way. And when you do that, you actually find yourself. You find yourself in your decisions, and you end up being in the right places. There's nothing more heartbreaking than having an athlete who chooses a school because of a significant other, or because a sibling went there, or because the coach that they want to work with is there, and they get there and the coach leaves, or the coach is there for a year and they leave, and then the athlete's stuck at the school and they transfer around trying to find another coach, and then that coach leaves. It's just a heartbreaking story, right? So you have to make the decision for yourself. And the first step in doing that is, who cares who's recruiting you? You as the athlete do the research and say, do I want a big school? Do I want a small school? Do I want to be close to home? Do I want to be far away from home? And be very realistic about what that means. Going home for holidays, going home on the weekends, the cost and time involved with the travel back and forth. A campus that is snow-locked for 80% of your semester versus a campus where you can walk around and sit outside for 80% of the semester. Cost is a huge factor. I have no idea why college tuition expenses are as high as they are. I don't think we need as fancy dorms that we have. I don't think we need the fancy stadiums that we have. I think a lot of money is being invested in these campuses that isn't going back into students' pockets. The cost is ridiculous for having these multi-million-dollar facilities. I think institutions should be pulling back their spending and keeping costs low for students. But shine sells, right? More students are gonna pick the school with better dorms, and so the universities are locked into a bit of an arms race right now, facilities arm race, so to speak. So cost of the campus, location, what do you want to study? What's your first choice? What's your second choice? Does that school offer a easy exchange between your first choice as major and your second choice? Because a lot of people, they end up switching, or they don't know what they want to do yet, right? So when it comes down to the recruiting process, right, you got to pick your school. How do I pick a school? Do I know what I want? Once you say, I want a small school far away from home, I want to study this, then go find the schools, right? Go find the schools and say, okay, this school matches what I like, and reach out to the coach. Do not sit back and wait to be recruited and the sun shined on you and say, oh, you are the best athlete I've ever seen. Please come for a paid visit and meet all my athletes and roll the carpet out for you. No. You walk in there for business and say, I'm here to interview you as the coach. I'm here to interview you as the school. I want to see what you're about. So find the coach at the school and send them an email, okay, with a dossier in yourself. Say, I'm so-and-so from here. I'm a junior in high school. I'm going to graduate May of 2021. These are my events. This is my best. Here's a video or two. Link to YouTube or include the raw video file and say, I'm interested in your program. And then ask the coach, what are you looking for in an athlete? Do you have a minimum distance requirement, minimum performances from the athletes before they can come in? What's your walk-on limits? What are you looking at for scholarships? Ask the coaches, if you're looking for scholarship money, ask the coach when they're going to have money to spend on a thrower. Because something a lot of people don't understand is money gets tossed around a lot in the programs, and a coach will invest a lot of money in a thrower, and they might have to wait 2, 3, a 4-year cycle before they have more money for another thrower. So even if they like you, they might not be able to give you money right now. Maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now. So that's something to ask the coach, right? How much money is tied up in the throwers? Then they have your information, right? Send them an email. Then, if you can, send them a phone call or text message and just say, hey, I sent you an email. I'm interested in your school. And then let that coach get back to you, okay? If that coach is interested, they will get back to you, okay? If they don't get back to you, probably safe to assume they're not interested. You could send another follow-up, email or phone call. But if they don't reply to you, shame on them as a coach. They should reply. Even if they're not interested, they should reply and say, thanks for the contact, not interested. But after 2 attempts, I'd say probably move on to another school, because you probably don't want to work with that coach if they can't get back to you, okay? Now this goes 2 ways, right? If you are a talented athlete, you are going to be approached by a lot of schools, a lot of small schools that you're not interested in. When you get a letter or a phone call or an email from a school that you're not interested in, reply to that coach. Reply to them and say, thank you for the reach out. I'm not interested in your program. The school's too small, or the program doesn't perform at the level that I'm looking for, and just let them know. Hey, thanks, but I'm not interested. Then they're not going to send you anything else, and you're going to make that coach's life easier. They can say, okay, I can scratch them off the list and move on to other kids that might want to come, okay? Because something else that a lot of people don't realize from the high school side is, in my opinion, a lot of the college coaches, they're starting to recruit less because they're being expected to do more than is one position worth, right, of work. They have to coach, they have to write strength training programs, and they have to recruit, and they have to travel, and there's all these things that the coaches have to do. And most people, if we're all honest about it, they don't have the time to really put into recruiting the way they want to, right? And so you're going to make their job easier. Help those coaches out and say, yes, I'm interested. No, I'm not. So reach out to them. Reach out to them. Communicate. Find the schools that you want. Let them know you're interested. And if you're really interested in that program, keep them up to date. communicate back and forth. The next step is once things kind of progress along and say, yeah, we're interested, and you fill out an application, that kind of stuff, contact the athletes at the school. Talk with the athletes and say, hey, I want to know, like, what's a bad day like with the coach? What's a good day like with the coach, right? Ask the athletes. The athletes know. And the athletes will probably tell you straight up, say, yeah, like, that coach can be a real jerk on off days. Sometimes they're a little bipolar, right? And they're fantastic on the up days, and they're a little hard to deal with on the down days. But when it comes down to meet day, they fire you up and you perform no matter what, right? Or other coaches, they say, oh, they're consistent across the board, right? No mood swings. They're fantastic. They're not as sharp on the technique side. Like, we have to do a little bit of work on our own, but the coach talks with us a lot about the technique and works with us with what we want to do, right? Be very realistic about it, right? College coaches are not gods on earth. They have their strengths, they have their weaknesses, and you need to find the coach and the program with the strengths and weaknesses that partner up with your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up, and I think, at least I hope that this information on some recruiting can aid some kids in finding the right place for them and making the right decision for the next step in their life when they pick a school and pick a program to pursue throwing at the collegiate level. This episode went longer than I was expecting. I kind of think that these will be 5 to 10 minutes long in the future. I'm not sure. Sometimes I get going and talking. But until next time, keep your coffee black and your beans whole.